Welcome to my studio. I'm Artemis and I make custom dolls. If you watched my last video, you've actually already seen this custom, but today I'll take you through her beginner-friendly makeover. She started out as a regular Poppy Rowan from Rainbow High. She was pretty, but not quite my style, so I'm gonna give her the goth restyle she deserves. Let's get into the project. To start off this restyle, I left her factory paint intact and removed her factory lashes, then wrapped up her hair in a little burrito of protection and masked off her eyes. As I'm going for an alternative look, I'll be using blacks, purples, and some grays for her eye makeup. I'm just trying to get a nice blend for a smoky eye, as well as making sure that the factory makeup gets covered up. I deepen her eyebrows and add hair strokes, and then work on giving her a dark lip that I go back and forth with black and purple pastels, as well as some mica powder later down the line. I want the lip to have dimension, but I also want it to look basically like black lipstick. I also highlight her face so that she has quite a stark complexion next to the makeup for that more goth feel. This is great for beginners, as the idea here is to cover up the factory paint. You could also use the factory paint as a guideline to lay out the colors if you like. For beginners, I don't recommend acrylic paint unless you're pretty skilled with a brush, as it's easy to end up with a lumpy makeup look. In my opinion, pastels and pencils are more forgiving, though they can take more layers of sealant. If you want to try this as a beginner, you don't have to go straight for the darkest shades. You just need to choose a color that will cover up the existing factory paint. If you have materials that have great opacity, that's honestly the easiest way, besides going dark to cover up the makeup. Alternatively, I've also used this technique as a way to get a different tint to the makeup. If you'd like the color of lipstick, for example, to simply be a different shade or hue, you could go over it with a layer or two of pastels to better fit your liking. Off camera, I've dyed and cut this doll's hair. It was a process that I did so long ago, I unfortunately can't give you the dye ratio that I used. But if you're interested in dyeing doll hair as well, I highly recommend you check out Daisy Dolls here on YouTube. They've done some different content, but have a handful of videos dyeing a couple of dolls different colors that will give you the basics to work with for dyeing hair. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description box below. For the dark style I was going for, honestly, I needed quite a few layers to build up the opacity that I was looking to achieve. I've noticed recently that my pastels are feeling less pigmented. Maybe they're expired? Is that a thing? Do pastels expire? Well, I've been using this set of Mungyo Gallery pastels since I started customizing about 8 years ago, so it might just be time to replace them anyway. Now for the fun part of this custom. I'm gonna give my doll piercings. I've marked out where I want the piercings to go using a watercolored pencil in brown. I'll use this as a guide when gluing and piercing the doll. To do this, I have a couple of sizes of flat-backed metal pieces, some shiny spikes, and a couple sizes of jump rings. For this first method, you'll need a pin and a lighter. For this, we're actually going to melt holes in the doll, so please do this in a well-ventilated area. To start, I heat up my needle until it's pretty much glowing hot, and then use my guideline to pierce through the doll's ear. I then leave the needle to cool before removing it. I've learned while doing this that the holes can actually still shrink afterwards, so it's best to immediately add your jewelry after removing your pin or needle. And you can do the same thing with a septum or an eyebrow piercing, you'll just need 2 holes instead of 1. To add a jump ring, I just open it with pliers and then do my best to essentially force it through the hole that I've just made. Then I close it up and try and pull the opening toward the inside of the hole to kind of hide that gap and make it look like a natural earring. Now I'll show you how I glue on my various little metal pieces to look like other earrings. I have a brush that I dedicate to using with glue and use that to apply plain tacky glue to the places that I've previously marked. I use one of my pencil erasers to pick up the small pieces or tweezers, as I don't have a wax pencil for rhinestones, though I would highly recommend one of these if you want to do lots of piercings on your dolls, as I've since gotten one, and it's actually made it a lot easier. But as you can see, I simply apply the metal pieces to the dots of glue and then give them a good 20 to 30 minutes before moving or messing with the doll to be sure that the glue has dried enough that they've stuck. For the spikes, I unfortunately learned that they come off quite easily if they're touched or brushed up against. So before I took pictures, I did use some super glue to hold those in particular in place. But with that, she's done. Let's see her final pictures. She turned out quite cute, and honestly is now kind of one of my favorites. I don't have a name for this custom, but Poppy doesn't quite fit her anymore, so leave your name ideas down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that bell so you're notified the next time I upload. The next video will be the start of a new series, so I hope you're ready for some glass slipper drama. Until next time, bye-bye!